Does lime juice really cook raw fish? Find out in this delicious recipe of Poisson Cru. I'll show you how to make it, so stick around. Aloha mai kako, my name is Relle and welcome to my kitchen where I like to share all my favorite Hawaiian and local recipes. And today we're not gonna make a Hawaiian dish, but we're gonna travel across the Pacific and make a fellow Polynesian dish, Poisson Cru. It's a Tahitian dish, part of French Polynesia. Poisson Cru means raw fish. So let's get started. It's kind of like a ceviche or almost like a poke maybe even, but it starts with some ahi. So you'll use, sashimi grade or sushi grade ahi, which really just means the place you buy it from, they deem it safe to eat or reputable sources. There's not a true defining characteristic that makes that, if that makes sense. For me, I like to make these in smaller bite-sized pieces, smaller than a poke chunk, maybe like a lomi salmon chunk size. And with the fish, you want to do long single strokes. You don't want to saw back and forth because you're really going to break up the fish. So make sure whatever cut you do, it's all the way through and all the way back. But as you can see, these pieces would be too big. So I go ahead and cut them in half like this. And then you can make more bite-sized pieces like that. And even then, that's actually a little bit bigger than I normally would make them. So about yay size. This is about half a pound of ahi. You can find the full recipe instructions and ingredients in the description box below, so check that out. I also have a full blog post talking about, the history of it, where it comes from and stuff like that. Make sure you get yourself a sharp knife. I'm not good with sizing. I don't know, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. Smaller than a poke cube. Doesn't have to be super pretty, but I try to keep my cuts nice. My dad was an avid ocean goer, so we had fish a lot, and he would try to let me try being the keyword, let me cut fish when I was younger. And my goal was always to, make him proud, because fish, it was terrible when I was little. Scott did much better, and he would hopefully be quite proud of me today. Unfortunately, he's no longer here to see, but maybe he's watching down saying, good job. Also, when I met my husband, he didn't believe I knew how to clean fish, so I had to show him what's up. Now he knows. Okay, ahi cubed up. You're gonna set that into a bowl like so. Let me rinse off my hands real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, the way this recipe works is it uses acid to marinate the fish. The acid creates a low pH, and we're gonna get a little nerdy. If you don't know, I'm a little bit of a nerd. I enjoyed school and I don't know, I like the science behind things. I'm a nurse practitioner by day, so the science of baking and cooking, I like it. So we're gonna take 2 limes, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna squeeze the limes into the ahi. And what the limes do, the acid actually denatures the protein, similar to what cooking does. It doesn't cook the fish. That's a common misconception that people have. The lime denatures it, which makes it opaque on the outside and more firm, very similar to what cooking does, and the inside stays soft and tender. And then we're gonna do one more. If you roll the limes, it helps kind of soften it up so it can juice easier. So the longer you let it marinate, the further it denatures. I like to do about 15 minutes, but if you want it more cooked, it's not cooked, right, but less denatured, or more, more, then you'd leave it longer. I probably wouldn't go much further than 30 minutes though. And you can already kind of see the color starting to change. If you don't have a juicer, you can use your hands, use a fork and put it in. I'll link the one I have in the description box below if you want to pick yourself up one. And then you're just going to toss the fish in it like this, and we're going to set it aside. Now that the fish is marinated, we can start with the veggies. This is the nice part of the recipe, that you really can just kind of put in what you want or what you don't want. What I like to use is a sweet Maui onion. Now, the onion goes in raw, right? So I really like the sweet Maui onion because it's less of a pungent, potent flavor, and it's just a really nice taste. I would try to get some. If you can't, you can use whatever onion you want. Red, yellow, white, up to you. I show this all the time, but if you haven't seen it, this is how you do it. Cut it in half, leave the root intact. You're gonna trim off just the very tip of the onion like this, and then you're gonna make cuts horizontally this way. So be careful, hold your finger up to the top like this, and then you're just gonna run your blade. Make sure you have a sharp knife. You're gonna run it towards the back. Do not go all the way through. You wanna keep it intact so it holds together so that you can continue to cut. So it's like this, no special trick or anything like this. This is just helpful for me, okay? And then you're gonna turn it so that the root end is away from you, and then you're gonna make vertical cuts this way. Also not all the way through, right? We're gonna still keep it intact. The closer you put your cuts, the smaller the pieces. I like my pieces of onion really fine. I don't like to be biting into really big onion pieces. Sometimes pieces fall off. If those pieces are too big for you, you can just move it over to the side. And then you're gonna turn it back parallel to your body. So the top and the root run this way, right? And then we're gonna cut vertically this way. And you're gonna kind of use your hand as like a claw. Make sure you keep your fingers out of the way. You don't wanna cut your fingers. And then you're gonna kind of hold it together like this, and you're just gonna cut down. Just like so. And then we'll put that into a bowl. It's kind of an eyeball. There's no like right or wrong. So that was maybe 1/4 of a large onion. Then cucumber. I like to use the Japanese cucumbers, but totally up to you. You can use whatever one you want. You'll probably only need half. Trim the edge. I like to take a little bit of the skin off. Then you'll cut it in half. The Japanese cucumbers, I find, I don't know if it's just always the case, but they tend to have a little bit less seeds in it, but you can just go down the middle and take out some of that. Now we want to cube these up to be about the size that the onions are. So it's gonna be kind of like lomi salmon, how everything is chopped together in about those bite-sized pieces. So I usually go half of that and then another half. So you end up having 4 pieces, and then do the same for the other. Cut it in half, half again, and half on this side. And then what you can do is just put the two together, turn it this way, and then slice it up like this. So this is a nice refreshing crunch where the onion is more of a strong bite. So it's a nice contrast between the two, right? I like to dice mine small like this. Do you have to? No, if you want to do it big, you can. I've seen recipes where people just cut them like almost half moon style. And then tomato. I like to use these Roma ones, but regular tomato is fine. Trim the top. And same concept. We just want it to be about the same. So this ends up, because it's bigger, it's usually more of like 1/8, half and then 1/8. And then if you have a good knife, then you don't have to smush it so much. We'll get that into the bowl. Now, check out the ahi. You see how the color has changed? It's starting to get really opaque on the outside. And look at the ones that were like fully submerged. They're almost a white color. Can just toss that. I'm gonna actually let it sit a little bit longer because it didn't take me a whole 15 minutes to cut up the veggies for this. So let's let this sit a little bit longer. I'll show you what it looks like. We'll put it all together, and the one ingredient that kind of pulls it all together and makes it super yummy. So stick around. All right, fish is marinated. See how it's like almost totally white at this point? So that's good. I like it like that. So then we're gonna add the veggies that we diced up earlier. Just toss all of that in. And then what makes this different than, you know, your traditional ceviche or anything like that is the addition of coconut milk. And I'd like to mahalo our sponsor for today's video, Foodland Hawaii. As always, thoughts and opinions are my own. We'll be using Maika'i organic coconut milk. This is 18% fat. You can find this in the next to the rest of the coconut milk at your local Foodland. Grab it. It's so awesome. I like that it's in a can. I use it for baking a lot, but this is a savory dish that I like to use it for. So you want to shake it up. Sometimes it solidifies and it sinks. And then of course, good old salt and pepper. Now you're just gently gonna toss this together. So this is a perfect pupu dish. Actually in Tahiti, they sometimes eat this as its own meal with a scoop of rice or whatever. I kind of like to eat it as a side, kind of like a lomi salmon along with whatever you're eating. You can let it sit for a little bit longer if you want, or if not, this is kind of what it looks like. And that's how you make Poisson Cru. If you like seafood recipes and you want to see more, check out this video here. And until next time, ahui ho!
Thank you for watching my mommy's video.